Start now. How was your weekend, Connor, baby?
My weekend, well, for these cunts, it will be Tuesday. How was my weekend? It was great. I had a wonderful weekend. I drank lots of white wine. I chilled in the sun a little bit.
Hang on. Did you just say white wine?
Yes.
So we've got a bloke who wears tights with a man bun drinking white wine. You fucking millennial.
You like wine?
Not white wine. I drink red wine. I drink a man's drink.
Red wine, a man's drink. There's something very wrong with that statement. I like white wine. It's nice and dry. I like really sort of intense
Yeah,
tastes.
I don't mind white wine. Although, bizarrely enough, I find white wine gives me a bigger buzz the next morning than red, which is completely contrary to what I would have expected. Anyway, today, first day back in the office. I've been working to get our book out. It's, for those listening to this, it's due out on the 2nd. That's the publishing date. But realistically, it means I need to get it uploaded to Kindle by Wednesday night, UK time. And what I'm doing at the moment is I'm running through some figures on potential profits and things. And it's based on some work by a guy called Lawrence Steinmetz. And I've put together a spreadsheet. And looking at these numbers, hey?
Are these the numbers we was talking about a minute ago before the podcast?
Yeah, the numbers are horrific. Harrowing. I'll talk through them now, and I strongly suggest anyone who's in the trades listens to this. Now, we're assuming a margin of about 25% gross margin, which is actually, from what I've been told, a little bit high for the trades. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, a few percent here and there doesn't really make much difference. Just bear in mind, the lower your margin is, the more severe the effects of what I'm about to share with you is going to be. And the higher your margin, the less severe it will be. What did I just say? The lower your margin, the more severe. I can't remember if I got it wrong or not. Anyway, so let's imagine you're doing baseline sales turnover of 500k. Yeah. So cost of goods sold is about 375k. Your operating expenses are 75, and your variable cost of sales, which is your marketing, invoicing, all that kind of shit, is 50k. So all in all, you got a profit of about 75 grand. Yeah, that's not out of question for a lot of the guys we talk to. Well, that's the profit potential anyway. So, for your break-even point there, that's when you're breaking even, to be honest. All right, because that 75k is your profit to potential, not the actual profit you're making. You are breaking even at this point. Now, if you want to stay break, and it would be any profit level, by the way, I want to get people to get their panties in a twist here. If you then add a discount as a percentage, so if we add a 10% discount, put it in my spreadsheet, and this will be valuable, by the way, to people who get hold of the book, it'll be valuable as a download. A 10% discount means your profit potential falls to 25%, 25k. It's a fall of 62%. Your new break-even volume of sales is 1.348 million. Just let that fucking sink in. And you've got to basically increase your sales volume 169%. That's cash, and in units 200%. You've got to double the amount of work, the units you're selling. So bathrooms, kitchens, whatever. That's on a 10% discount on a 12% on a 25% margin. That's fucking scary. If that doesn't scare the shit out of you, I don't know what will. Yeah, and you could cut your costs, but there's the most savage thing that's happening to you is you're fucking discounting. That 10% discount alone is slashing off your profit potential, essentially the same amount as you're paying in your variable cost of sales. You're effectively doubling your variable cost of sales by discounting by 10% in these numbers. Now, if we turn that around to a 2% discount, which is bugger all, no one gives a 2% discount, you're still going to increase your sales volume in terms of cash, so turnover, I guess, or revenue by 13.04%. And you've got to increase your sales volume in units by 15.34%. That's not a small amount of work for an insignificant price cut. On the other side of the coin, if we increase our prices by 10%, this is where it gets good. On the same numbers, you're effectively doubling your, well, 1.69, 169%. So you are increasing your sales volume massively, as in your cash. You are now, you can afford also to lose, sorry, your profit potential is up by 62%, 63% to 25K. And you can afford to lose, hang on a minute, basically a third of your business on the same numbers. It's fucking horrific. No, I got all that wrong, didn't I? I didn't put the minus in. Start again. I thought that looked a bit odd. On a minus 10% discount, so it's a 10% price increase. You're now your break-even sales volume is only 329K, 330K. You can lose 34% of your sales volume in cash and still make the same profit, which is break-even. Or you can lose 40% of your sales volume in units. So you're basically working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the same amount of money, the same result, just by increasing your prices by 10%. On a 25%.
Choice is yours. The choice is yours.
The choice is yours, yeah. Your gross margin is up from 25% by nearly 30% to just under 32%. And that's just by increasing your price by 10%. And again, 10% is nothing. And we've got guys who've increased their prices by 25% on those kinds of margins, builders. So he'll be now looking at on those. His profits are increased by well over 100%. His gross margin is now increased by 60% to 40%. His sales volume is less than half of what it was, so he can lose more than half of his fucking sales in terms of cash, and he can build 60 or 40%, 62% fewer houses. So he's only having to work 40% of the week, so he can work Monday and Tuesday and take the rest of the week off and make the same amount of money. And that is just with a 25% increase. Bearing in mind, these are numbers, like not those the big numbers, which because they would be dependent on your business, but those the important ones, the margins and the discounts or the price increases, whichever way you like to put them. They're what our guys have actually done and more. And we've got guys who are selling it 1,000% more, 100% more, 50% more. QS at 312%. Now these numbers are out there in the field now in the wild, and you people are making the money from them. I don't think people really understand how savage this stuff is, but hey, that ain't our problem, Connor.
No, it's just, it pains me to think about the amount of business owners in the construction industry just giving 10% discount and going, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Because it happens far too often.
On a 25% margin, you're losing half your profits, and you're having to you're losing 34%. Sorry, you've got to increase your sales volume by ridiculous amounts.
And it's those sort of numbers, you know, that drove us to create things such as our Genius model. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's 3 circles, or you might have seen it presented as a triangle: attract, seduce, and sell.
Yeah. It's frightening. I mean, you know, this is why we talk about premium pricing. So we talk about frictionless pricing, irresistible outcomes, all those things. Because ultimately, as I've been writing in the book, your profits are predicated on the difference between what you sell your shit for and how much it costs you to provide your shit. Yeah. Now, for the simple calculation, I just lump in cost of goods sold, operating expenses, and variable cost of sales all together. They are different, and they do make a subtle difference to the actual figures, but I mean, they're good enough just as a guesstimate. And they clearly show that a 10% increase from a 35% markup is 34% of your profits. It's increasing your profits. It's just stupid. And like you said, it's just a small 10% that no one will notice. And conversely, the 10% price cut is fucking savage on your profits.
Yeah, there'd be a
because it comes straight off your top line, doesn't it? You know, your variable cost of sales is the same, and your operating expenses are the same, and the cost of goods sold is the same. So it all comes out of your profit, a discount.
Yeah, there'd be far fewer people
Well,
giving
willy-nilly. It's the exact opposite of increasing your costs. In fact, it is increasing your costs, decreasing your costs. In fact, it's increasing your costs if you think about it, because it's like a bounty you pay someone. It comes straight off your fucking top line. Everything else stays the same. That's why it's so savage, because people don't realize that the cost of things, you know, their profit is dependent on taking out their fixed and variable costs. Well, they don't change just because you've given a discount.
Yeah, if
every discount comes straight out of your profit.
If tradesmen realised that, there'd be far fewer 10% discounts knocking about, wouldn't there?
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I don't ask for a discount, looking at it the other way, is I do understand these things, and I want the guys and girls who are working for us, and then we're not talking about big firms, we're talking about freelancers and things. I want them to be paid well. I want them to be living a good lifestyle, because then I get better service from them.
Yeah.
And probably some measure of loyalty, although I don't expect or demand that. But, you know, I don't want, you know, I want someone sitting there in their garden shed working, doing my work that I'm paying them for, feeling relaxed and comfortable about it, and not pissing and moaning, not about me on LinkedIn, not because I care about what they think, because I don't, but while they're pissing and moaning about me on LinkedIn, they're not serving my requirements.
Yeah.
And I won't get the best out of them. So I know people are often very big on cutting costs, and so they should be, because every dollar you spend, sorry, every dollar you don't spend goes straight on your top line. It just does. Yeah. I mean, and if you're making a 20% profit, say, on overall, then to make that dollar, that pound, you've got to sell £5 worth of stuff. That's £5 worth of work. Much easier just not to spend it in the first place. But what they don't realize is when they give a discount, they're actually adding to their cost base, because the same applies. Every fucking penny they give as a discount comes straight off their top line. It goes straight off their profits. I know it doesn't affect their cost of goods sold, doesn't affect their operating expenses, doesn't cost their variable cost of sales at all. They still have to be paid. So it comes straight out of their profits, which is the same as going, you know, you give a 10% discount, say it's 100 quid. It's just the same as spending 100 quid down the chippy or wherever, the fucking restaurant.
And the chippy.
Whatever you're fucking spending.
That's a lot of cod.
It's a lot of cod. Oh, mind you, you know, if me and Sarah go to our local fish and chip shop, certainly if we've got Imogen with us, it's more than €20. So you can imagine with a big family, you could easily spend 75, 100 euro. I've had a lot of fucking bratty little kids having a fucking sleepover party, you know?
Especially with the size of the average person nowadays.
Yeah, and the size of the average family in Ireland too. Anyway, just some food for thought there for people.
It's harrowing. It's almost, I don't want to carry the podcast on. I just want to leave it there.
Try.
Just like,
well, yeah,
nothing,
I mean,
nothing else needs to be said.
So I'm tired, so I've maybe used the wrong words at times. And I'm not an accountant, but the fact is, cutting your prices on a margin of 35% with reasonable operating costs absolutely fucking hammers your profits, and it comes straight off your profits as well. It's the exact reverse of cutting costs.
And in the current climate where there's...
And here's the thing. Hey?
Sorry, I think there's a bit of delay on my end. I was just going to say, in the current climate where there's plenty of work going about, there's even less reason to give a discount, because the next person will pay the full fucking whack.
Yeah. What's going to happen though is, I mean, people will be undoubtedly saying either under their breath or to our faces, I suppose, you guys, because prices have gone up. But I keep hammering this point home. This is not by design. This is by accident. And when the shit does hit the fan, and we were talking to Zach this morning, when all these subbies and tradesmen hit the open market in the and start working for themselves, making more money than ever made before, even though they're coming into discount, people are going to find their prices slashed, and consumers will probably revel in it because they've been fucking screwed over a barrel for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Right? And so the time to putting things in place to ameliorate that situation, building up your tribe of happy campers, is now. By all means, charge your high fees and enjoy it, but God, let people feel good about charging it. Don't let them feel you've got them over a barrel, because there'll be no loyalty there.
Well,
these numbers, they're fucking. I almost don't believe the numbers, but I've checked them. You know, I don't think there's an error in my database, in my spreadsheet at all. But I keep checking it because I'm thinking, this can't be fucking right.
Yeah. How is it possible? With math. Yes. Well, whilst things are a little bit rosy at the moment, it's the prime time to be introducing seamless promotion into your company.
Definitely. Well, this is kind of what I was saying about, the time to get this stuff working is right now. We have the attract, seduce, and sell, and although the 9 accelerators aren't really sequential and a lot of overlap, those 3 activities, the 3 drivers, attract, seduce, and sell, do have to happen in the right order. Now you have to attract people to you, which means they come to know who you are. They come to get to like you, not in the sense they don't want to be your best friend necessarily, but they get to like you in the sense they trust you to do a competent job. They at least think you share some similar values and you can have a conversation and have a handshake with them. And then, of course, they do come to trust you. 2 things: they trust you're competent and they trust you're willing and have integrity. Well, that has to happen before they'll buy from you. So you got this sequence: attract, seduce, and sell. And if say it's 6 months, 9 months down the line, we're going to see problems with pricing again because of all these new people, new kids on the block, new tradesmen on the block. Well, the time to get your attract shit sorted out is like now. So your seduce and your selling is maybe happening in a month or 2. Start now, because attract takes time. If you're out of work, you've got very little work coming in and prices are low, and you're trying to attract people, how are you going to attract them? I'll tell you how they're going to attract them. They're going to attract them by lowering their price and looking discounts. We've just seen what that fucking does.
Yeah. And
seamless promotion is part of it. Now, very, very simply, seamless promotion is basically it's intelligently and relentlessly promoting your business. So you're sending exactly the right message to exactly the right people at exactly the right time over exactly the right medium. Now, the right time is always now, because people will buy when they're ready to buy. So this is why we should be doing it seamlessly all the time. Because, people, what tends to happen is, and we actually heard this morning on the ops call, I started them with daily emails, then I got too busy and stopped making money from them. Well, duh, that was a classic case of seamless promotion not being seamless anymore. And he paid the price. You just do. But sending exactly the right message to exactly the right people and the right media may take work and focus, because the default thing is to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and it's not always the right choice. I mean, everyone's target market is probably on Facebook, probably on LinkedIn too. But it's not as simple as that. The question is, can you reach them on those platforms? And if you can reach them, will they pay attention? So it's not just a case of let's go where everybody is. I can guarantee I can get a letter to probably 90% of the millionaires in any given urban environment easily. All I do is I just take the phone book and write to everyone in the phone book. I'll lose a fuck ton of money because I'm also sending the same letter to shitty people who've got no money. But that's not the point. I can still get every fucking rich person. Well, that's a classic case of not targeting. That's a classic example of what people do in places like Facebook, Google AdWords, LinkedIn. They don't think about the right person. They don't even think about the right message, and they don't know what the right message is. And they don't know what the right message is because they don't know what the right person is. You don't know what to say to someone until you know who you're looking for. So, the big rookie marketing mistake. Now, if you imagine we've got to relentlessly promote the business, so right message, right people, right time, right medium. The biggest mistake people make, and I've seen this happening over and over again. It happened back in the old days before Facebook, even before Facebook advertising was a gleam in was a twinkle in well, what's his name's eyes? What's his fucking name? Zuckerberg. Yeah, Zuckerberg was probably still in nappies when I first encountered this. Got now, probably not far off. I don't know how old the guy is. Probably what, late 20s, early 30s.
I'd say yeah, mid to early 30s.
He was probably definitely at school then when I first encountered this, and that is people picking when I first encountered it, people picking their advertising medium because it's popular, trendy, or cheap, or just convenient. You know, it's this old, the way it used to work, it may still do, but it probably works less in this fashion now, but the principle would be the same elsewhere. It would be, you know, the Yellow Pages rep would knock on your door as a business owner, and they would bring out these fancy charts of how many people read the Yellow Pages and how they've got a special promotion on from the rate card. You know, the rate card was always made up. It wasn't a proper rate at all. No one paid rate card. Only fucking idiots like me the first time I ran an ad. No one pays rate card who knows what they're doing, and I didn't at the time. But that's what they would come, and they would, and the local rags, they'd bamboozle you, and they'd say, yeah, this will go out to 132,000 adults in this metropolitan area. And you think, oh, great, fucking loads of eyeballs. But the thing is, if you don't stop and think about it, and the right people are not looking at those free rags or the late Yellow Pages or anything else, you are wasting your money. You're not going to have eyeballs are not buyers.
No.
No. Now, print media is great still for older people, probably people my generation and above. It just is. I mean, we know the lawyer she took a practice from 0 to 1 point something million a year in 18 months just by advertising in the local rag. And she was getting a 1,800 and something % ROI on her ads. It was ridiculous. Of course, I helped her write them. Of course.
Of course.
You know, and over the years, people have said, "Oh, you've got to be doing Google AdWords. You've got to be doing this. You've got to be doing that." It's not always true. There are some services I can think of, and I've experienced. I've worked in these areas where Google AdWords just don't cut it because no one's searching for the problem. There's very few people, I guess, searching for what we do. They just aren't.
Yeah, very few.
Not in the way we do it. You know, I'm not saying it wouldn't work. What I am saying is I certainly don't have the skill set or the time to do it. All the inclinations, better lower hanging fruit for us.
Yeah.
But, you know, the big rookie mistake is picking your medium because it's popular, trendy, or cheap. Now, nowadays, that doesn't translate to the Yellow Pages or the local rag anymore. But what it does translate to is TikTok or Clubhouse or LinkedIn or Facebook or the latest fucking trendy platform that comes along. Have you heard anything about Clubhouse in the last 3 weeks? Other than now?
Not really.
No, it's just got like a fart in a fucking hurricane. I remember some pimply fucking 17-year-old cockwomble trying to school me on LinkedIn about how TikTok was the future. About 3 weeks later, Donald Trump's talking about banning the damn thing, you know? I mean, fucking hell, like. The thing is that all these platforms, any medium is tactical.
Yeah.
Every medium is tactical. And they're all time limited. Even direct mail is going to be time limited. I mean, it will be very long lived because if you can't send people letters, what the fuck can you do?
Yeah.
But everything else, you know, fax machines was time limited. Calling people on the phone is getting more difficult. Right, Mrs. EBG delivers another dog. Hi, guys.
There we go. I'm just popping into town.
All right. They all wanted to know that.
All right.
See, you listener, we actually live a real life. We are normal human being. Mrs. EBG goes into town, just like a normal human being does.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun. So, yeah, I mean, but it's the biggest mistake people make. And I know why they do it, because there's this fear of missing out. You know, when Clubhouse first became a thing and people couldn't get invitations, and they were asking for them on LinkedIn, has anyone got a free invitation? And then apparently people were selling them on fucking eBay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who in their right fucking mind would pay? I wouldn't go out my way. I wouldn't waste the electrons to fill in the form, but you know, people have this fear of missing out. But what they don't realize is by the time most of us, the vast majority of us, we are aware of these new platforms and would benefit from being an early adopter, we've missed the wave. It's a bit like hedge funds. You know, you and I don't really hear about these massively profitable runs on businesses and these massively profitable increases in share prices until it's too late, until we're jumping on a bandwagon. And by then it is too late. There are exceptions. I told you before, I could have got in at the ground floor of Bitcoin. I'd be a multi-millionaire now if I had. I didn't bite because I didn't understand it. And I don't regret it either, because you know, there's no point. But very, very few of us ever get the opportunity to do that. But of course, we always look at the very few, relatively very few success stories of people who've made millions overnight doing these things, not realizing that until you can see the graveyard of failures, looking at the successes is pointless. You know, if one person succeeds doing this and a million fail, the chances are virtually zero you're going to fail too.
Yeah.
Well, that is essentially what seamless promotion is. I mean, it's not fucking complicated. It can be hard work. We know this, but it's not complicated.
It's not complicated. More often than not, is not even hard work. It's just discipline, and you have to have a firm understanding of strategy.
Absolutely.
I think that wraps us up relatively nicely, Johnny.
It does. I can't be asked with a 1 minute hate. I'm too busy.
Well, on that note,
I want to get back to my spreadsheet.
Get back to your spreadsheet. That's where you're at home.
Yeah. So if you want to get better clients, sell at higher prices, and avoid those fucking awful, horrific, horrendous numbers I read out to you, and have them all fed to in a pipeline which we can start to fill immediately, which will then sustain you throughout the coming shitstorm, which we are going to get, I guarantee. And what you need to do is go to ottpodcast.co.uk, avail yourself of our free resources. And if you're really keen, email Holly at growyourbusinessfast.co.uk, and she will apprise you of how you can join me for a free round table. The next one's on the 8th of April, but I'll be doing one every couple of weeks if we have enough interest. In the meantime, stay safe, stay aside, wash your hands. Please, please, please do not give discounts, because you've seen the effects they can have, and definitely do not shit on your fingers. See you later. Ta-ra.